Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a meal prep video. Basically this is just what I've meal prepped for the week and I thought I would share it with you guys. I am plant-based, so there's no animal products in it at all, but I have tried to include a lot of different kinds of proteins to make sure that it is, you know, a well-rounded type meal. But you know, I'm not a nutritionist, so this is just for kind of like, you know, simple, easy meals that taste really good but are also somewhat healthy for you. So yeah, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more, and leave any comments you have down in the section below. Today for breakfast I'm going to be making homemade baked beans on toast. I used to kind of talk about porridge and, you know, overnight oats and stuff, so I thought I wanted to do something a little bit different this week. For lunch, I'm going to be having something really simple, just a lentil and quinoa salad, but you can use any grain, of course. And then for dinner, I'm going to be having a squash and coconut curry. You can make it with pumpkin and it is preferable, but a squash is just what I had on hand. So without further ado, let's just get straight into the video. So the first thing you want to do before you start any of this kind of prep is to actually soak any of your legumes or beans that you have bought dried, if you have access to them, of course. But if you just have cans, then just make sure you are really thoroughly rinsing all of those beans and pulses. And if you are soaking them overnight, then definitely leave them, you know, at least 12 hours so that they can be super quick to cook the next day. So the first thing I'm going to do is go straight into the baked beans. This is such a nice hearty meal to have in the morning, especially as it's still quite cold in London and it's still the winter time. So the first thing you're going to do is prepare the veggies. So what you want to do is chop up the onion and the garlic and some green chillies. All of the ingredients and lists of everything will be in the description below, so don't worry if you miss anything. Once you've chopped that, then just in a deep pan, put in a little bit of olive oil, or if you don't like oil, you can use a bit of water, and fry them for about 10 minutes just to make sure they're really nice and soft. After 10 minutes, then you want to add your sweetener. You can use brown sugar or maple syrup or agave, just whatever you have on hand, and cook for another minute or two. Then once that's kind of melted into the mixture, you want to add your soy sauce and your apple cider vinegar, and again just continue to fry for another 2 to 3 minutes to make sure it's all nice and mixed in. While those are cooking, I like to actually blend my tomatoes. If you want to chop them up really small, that's completely up to you, but I like to blend them so they're super fine, and then it just creates this really lovely consistency. So I'm just popping them in a normal kind of blender, anything that you have, and blending them until they're nice and smooth. Then I'm just going to add them to the pot with the rest of the mixture, and I'm going to mix that and let it sort of heat through and reduce just a little bit over the next sort of 4 to 5 minutes. And then finally, you just want to add in your beans. Now I use haricot beans because they are really small white beans, and I think that those are the ones that they use in canned baked beans anyway. You're just going to put those in and mix those through until it's all nice. And then you might want to just reduce it a little bit more if it is quite watery. But if not, then you can just enjoy once the whole mixture has heated through. I just like to have this with a couple of pieces of toast, so because I'm on the go quite a lot, sometimes I take my breakfast with me. So I'm just going to be putting my toast or my bread in a container and my baked beans so that they're ready just to take with me straight away, and I don't have to fuss about getting all of that ready in the morning. So that's breakfast. The next thing I'm going to be making is a lentil salad. Now the lentil salad is a lot more simple and a lot plainer, so you can add anything extra that you want. This is a really great versatile type recipe. So the first thing you're going to be doing, if you haven't already, is to cook your lentils and cool them down. And then next you're going to be wanting to do your quinoa. So if you have quinoa, you can use it. The ones that I used is actually grown in the UK, and I can buy it from a zero waste shop here. So it's nice to know where your food is actually coming from, especially things like quinoa. You need to be careful about where you're buying it. So if you can't get a reasonable or responsibly sourced bag or amount of quinoa, then I would suggest using a different grain like brown rice or, you know, bulgur wheat or anything that you actually really like. And then I'm just going to put that on the stove to cook first. And while that's cooking, that's when I'm going to now prepare my veggies. So you can chop and use any vegetables that you like. I'm going to be spiralizing some courgette. If you don't have a spiralizer, you definitely don't need one. You could use a grater, or you could use a peeler, anything like that, or just completely omit. But I'm trying to get as many sort of fresh fruit and vegetables into my diet as possible, especially greens. So I'm just going to spiralize some of those. I'm going to chop up some tomatoes, some carrots. But just before I do that, I'm going to chop up some red onion and put it in a large bowl. Once I put it in that bowl, I'm going to squeeze a whole lemon onto it. Then I'm going to massage the actual red onions so that the lemon goes into them. If, like me, you love to have raw onions in your salads, but you don't like the taste is a bit too much, the lemon really reduces that a lot. So if you want to do that just before you chop your veggies, then when you're ready, you can start adding all of them to the bowl. I'm just going to be throwing all of these veggies in with my lentils and the courgette and everything else, and then once your quinoa has actually cooled down, I'm just going to throw that in as well. I'm going to mix everything up and then apply a dressing. Now this is going to be really simple because my other ones are a little bit heavier on the sort of salt and the fat, so I'm just going to be putting some balsamic vinegar in and a little bit of agave syrup just to sweeten up a bit, and then a tiny pinch of salt. If you want to put anything else on, obviously you can. If you want to put mustard on, or if you want to make a peanut sauce or anything like that, anything will go because it's such a super simple recipe. And then I'm just going to be putting this in with 2 baked sweet potatoes because they're quite small, just to bulk out my meal a little bit so it's not too so it's a bit more calorie dense. Especially if you're doing a lot of exercise, you need to be making sure that you're eating enough, and this is a great way just by adding some lovely healthy carbs to your meal. And the last one is going to be a pumpkin coconut curry. If you have a pumpkin, then definitely use that instead. Unfortunately, I only had a squash lying around, so I'm going to be using that. So the first thing you want to do is to chop up that squash. Once you've chopped it up into nice pieces, then shove it in a bowl, put some rapeseed oil over it and a tablespoon of garam masala, and make sure that you really integrate that really nicely so that every piece is covered. Once you've done that, put it on a baking tray, put it in the oven and forget about it for half an hour. Now onto the sauce. You want to get a deep pan or that has a lid for it, and you want to put in just a bit more rapeseed oil, but if you don't like to use oil, you can just dry roast these. Once the oil is hot, then you want to add your mustard seeds and your curry leaves. Once those mustard seeds start to pop, that's when we can add in our onions and our sliced green chillies. Stir those around for about 10 minutes or until they become soft and translucent, and then that's when we're going to add in our garlic. Once you've added in your garlic, again, just mix around for a couple more minutes, and then you're going to add your tomatoes, which you've just quartered or eighths, and then your black-eyed peas, and you want to make sure you really integrate that mixture so it's all covering all the peas and all the tomatoes. Now once the tomatoes start to become quite jammy around the outside, that is the perfect time to add the rest of your ingredients. It's such a simple recipe and it's really straightforward. It doesn't even take that long. So you just want to add in your coconut milk, your turmeric, your salt, your black pepper, and then put a lid on it and let the whole mixture warm up after you've given it a good stir. Now, after half an hour, check to make sure your pumpkin is nice and soft, and when it is, you can just add that to the mixture really gently so it doesn't disintegrate, and then your pumpkin curry is done. I like to have this with a bit of brown rice, but you don't have to have it with anything if you don't want, or you could make some flatbreads or some naan, or you could just have it with another different type of grain, whatever is your choice. These are just some really super simple recipes that I wanted to share with you, and things that I constantly are eating all the time, because especially in the winter it's nice to have a really hearty meal, and especially because I'm doing so much exercise at the moment, it is nice to have, you know, lots of beans and legumes and pulses and lots of carbs that are really healthy for you. But again, obviously I'm not a nutritionist, so make sure if you are looking for proper dietary advice that you go and see a professional. But these are just some pretty simple, lazy vegan ideas for your next meal prep. Anyway, I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope you give it a thumbs up. If you have any other kind of recipe videos that you really want to see, please let me know in the comment section below what they are, and I can try and find a way to show you and help you with them. Anyway, thanks for watching. It was really great to make this video. It was really fun, so I hopefully will make some more soon. Anyway, see you later. Bye.